What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my garage of horrors. My name is Zanrith, and this mess that you see before you is where I work on and modify all of my bikes and Heather's. So stay tuned, and bring you guys along with me on this journey. Heather and I currently are renting a nice apartment in Buffalo, and we have a rental garage, which is behind it. That is the mess you see in front of you, where I do a lot of work on our bikes and have a lot of parts and tools and things that I need to organize better. So throughout 2020, I'll be organizing, maybe getting another toolbox, working on the 650, Heather's 650, the 300 back there, and the ZX6R, which is currently out of the way. But I thought I'd bring you guys along, see what I'm doing, check out all my stuff. Like I said, we have no power, so I've got these LED lights hanging, which is how I normally work. Usually this one's back with that guy when I'm working on the bike that's on the lift. And yes, that is the Harbor Freight Special, which actually has worked amazingly. A few things we'll go over with that another time. Things I've done, got a pile of parts here, parts and stuff for cars, bikes, a paint project that I messed up, a locker that came from somewhere, and an assorted amount of tools, lights, and a big tool chest. So today's work agenda, which I'll show you guys a lot of it, I wonder if this can be loud for you guys, is first off, we installed some LEDs under Heather's bike, and we're going to make a custom kind of cheapy switch holder for it, which is going to be made out of a uh-oh, where's the key? I lost her key already. I just got out here. This is why I'm not, oh, found it. Yep. Heather's key. Well, I gotta see if it's, there you go, should be focused. So we got LEDs all underneath this thing, and we'll show you some pictures of that, and Heather will have some stuff up on her Instagram, which, if you guys don't know by now, is at Heather Moto Girl on Instagram. So make sure you check her out if you want to see more about her purple and black bike. But so what we're gonna do, and this is gonna be really ad hoc together, but it's very personal to Heather because she works at a pharmacy. So I have, and I'm gonna hold this way out here. I don't know if where the camera's exact focus is, but I tried to, when I was testing it, get it like right where my hand is now, right in front of me. So Heather works in a pharmacy, so this is where her switch is going to be housed. I'm going to, if I'm smart enough to open this, I'm going to drill a hole in this, put the switch through, put a smaller hole in the bottom of the bottle, and feed the wires through so that the whole switch is waterproof, and then just add some zip ties to hold it in place here. The switch is under the back seat of her bike, so that no one can come up and just flick the switch on and drain her battery. That's kind of the way we wanted to do it. And until now, and I haven't confirmed this, but in New York State, apparently you can drive with your underglow on your bike as long as it's not red or blue or flashing, from what I've heard. I can't confirm that. If someone can find an actual law and put it down below somewhere in the comments, I would appreciate it, just so that I have extra backup for when I do that and we get pulled over. But other than that, I've got a step drill. I've got two actually. I got this little guy, it's not big enough, and the big mamma jamma down here that goes up to 1 3/8. I need 1 inch, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to step it up to about 7/8. I'm going to make sure to check fitment and everything, and then go for the full inch for the switch first, which this is going to be pretty easy, I think, drilling through plastic. So I'm going to get to it. I can barely get it out. Okay, let's look at this guy. I have another one for reference. Ground, load, power. So ground is the ground, load is going out, and power is in. And the power is on this end. Okay, so probably didn't see that. Ground, load, power. Let me read that. Yep, you guys might be able to see it. I doubt it's in the box. So ground's towards the light, power's in the middle, which is the power out, and then load is the 12 volt from the battery coming in. And hers is actually not from the battery. Or well, no, hers is directly from the battery, so she can turn it on when the bike is off for cool photos and stuff, because that's how she wanted it. Okay. Ground, load, power. Oh. This is the load. And this, if I can feed it up in here a little better, which maybe you might have to make it a little bigger, the hole that is. I think I can get it. It's a little tight with the insulation, or the tape on it. Let's try to rotate this. Oh. Get it around here. Oh. And then, which one is it that's caught? These two are caught. Okay. And then we have a pretty waterproofed, not perfect because the end's still a little open, but it's better than just kind of floating in here, I think. And then we have to secure it to the side here, which there's a little line or a little cut under here. I'm gonna try to put it in there, but we got to make sure the seat's gonna fit too, so it may have to free float a little. See if there's anywhere else we can attach this before I start securing things. I just don't want it. I don't want it bouncing around either. Maybe I made this tape a little too thick. Bend it out a little bit. Her registration, you guys don't need to see that. Get that away. My other thought is, why not? It would fit in here, but it definitely won't. Okay. So you might have some long enough zip ties for this. Might have to be colored. Here's some more LEDs that we have. We're gonna do blue, because that's what we have right now. If she wants me to change it to black later, I will, or purple. But right now we're going to do blue, because I think these will fit around everything. Might be tight. I should have done this when the fairings were off. Okay, so that's not going anywhere. It's a little tougher to hit the button than I wanted, but it's not bad. And it frees up, keeps this space kind of clean. Except for the wires that are everywhere for the tail tidy and the LEDs. So I'll go grab my dikes again. Past all my stuff. And that's mostly why that light's there, to shine on the toolbox. I need about 1,200 more of those. Or just a new garage, which is in the works, guys. It's really important that if you say the directions of how everything's supposed to go over and over in your head, that when you go put it together, you pay attention to which way that direction is. Because it was it a combination or permutation? There's like, I forget. There's two differences of if direction matters or not in math. Nerd alert. Okay, so what we're gonna do is trim that guy. Keep putting my tools back when I'm not done with them yet. I always do that, but at least I'm putting stuff away now. Okay. No, I guess I can use the big ones. I don't know what the small ones went already. Probably didn't put them away. They're probably under the seat or something. Probably under there. Or on there, right there. Okay. I always leave things right where I leave them. Can never find them. Okay. Connected. Good. Now you just got to attach the battery. You're right, you're right. Put these away. These go here. It's my problem. This drawer, I got extra tools at some point and didn't get a bigger drawer like I should have, like an adult. I need a bigger toolbox for sure, at least another 54 with wide drawers in it. Like, this is great. Oh, this needs a hell of a cleaning though. Holy hell. This thing dirty. Whew. So, and my trash can's a bucket. Love it. And voila. Okay, before we put it back together, everything's working. So I'm probably going to cut that part for you guys because I want Heather to show her bike on Instagram. I don't want to spoil it for her. I know she's been waiting to get a good shot of it. So if you guys want to see how the bike looks finished after I've done all this wiring, hop over there on Instagram. She'll show you. We'll probably do a video of it later in life, but as for now, okay. Booyah. Guess I can put her registration stuff back in there, right? Voila, we're back together. It's my phone. Okay, make sure we got our key. We got our key. Okay, so that's all we had to do this 650 day. Not sure which project to tackle next. I don't feel like cleaning up yet. That's normal. Well, let's put the tools away at least. Let's start with that. Okay, so other things I have to work on are the Ninja 300 needs an oil change, which I'm waiting on oil to be delivered. It needs... what else does it need? I forget, there's other things I wanted to do to it. Back a couple years ago I changed out the front sprocket on it to a 15 tooth instead of the 14, which I have here, and this thing needs a kind of a good cleanup. It's a little rusty-ish. So I'll clean this up a little before I put it on. I want to change it back to the 14 tooth because I'm not doing any highway riding with this really. This is going to be more of my skills practice bike, I think. I don't want to... I'm nervous to mess up my ZX6R. If I lay this down, it's a hell of a lot cheaper and less of a... I'm less in love with this. I love this bike. It's awesome. Less in love with it than the ZX6R. So if I lay this down, trying to get my leg lower, trying to be whatever, try something different, I'm going to feel less bad. Less bad? Lesser bad? Less bad? I'm not going to feel as bad. There we go. About putting the Ninja 300 down. So I want to change out the sprocket back to the stock sprocket, which I can do all in this, but I don't think I'm going to do that. And then I've got a couple surprise for you guys later. Something else I want to do this. Maybe we'll do this another day. I'll do this in a whole video on its own, a whole day of working on the Ninja 300. There's a couple other things I want to do. Like at some point I'm going to switch out these levers here for red ones, just because the original plan for the bike was to change it all to black with orange like the ZX6R is, but and I started with orange levers, and now I like the red. I fell in love. I actually started painting it, just one thing there, and I want to actually try to take it off and match this paint, which may be easy, may be difficult. Depends. I don't know. We're just gonna get a spray paint and just coat over it. I like to try to do the painting myself, and I've done a lot of stuff with spray paint in the past. Not graffiti work, just like painting other plastic components of different things. And I'm going to try to do spray paint, just a couple different things. Like the XS650 here, which I think is what we're going to work on next, the XS650. So that was a Ninja 300. The XS650 is the next thing. I got it running. It's got oil in it. There's been one drip in, I want to say, a week and a half from it sitting here, which makes me feel like there was some oil on here from when I had an oil leak, and it's just dripping off. See that, like, there's a teeny bit of oil right here, but the oil leak was behind this cover, and I fixed that because I had it running until I ran out of gas, and it was all warmed up. It was nice and toasty, and there's nothing coming out. So I'm assuming that there's just a little oil in one of these fins that dripped down. So I'm going to say that this engine's good right now. I'm going to say it's good. It is good. This engine's good. I've got it set, and if it's a small gasket leak somewhere, we'll fix that later. But it's out of fuel because I ran it completely bone dry last time. And it's got a couple things. We got to just clean this up, really, because this is the clutch cable. It's supposed to be tucked in there, and I need to redo the whole wiring harness again, I think, and figure out if this is really necessary or not. Seen people say it is and isn't, so different things. So this is really a clean paint. Maybe wrap these here. Like, I'm gonna try to clean these up, the exhaust up a bit. At least to start with, I'm gonna work on the unpainted parts: the tank, the fender that's off it, the side covers. And clean it up because it's dirty, it's dusty, it needs some TLC. Seat's ripped here, but we're gonna leave that for now because the rest of the seat's good. It's just that one little part. Needs a couple hardware, some bolts, like this guy here. This is for a luggage rack that went off the back that I don't want to put on it and won't. This chrome needs a hell of a cleaning because I don't know if that's dirt or discolored, but I gotta clean this up. And I don't know how to clean chrome. Like, I don't have chrome on anything else we own, so we'll try to clean it up the best we can. I think polishing compound, maybe, we'll find out. This I tried to paint with something that it doesn't, like, I mean, like, it just comes off. I think it was something for I think it was something I had in my parents' house. I just didn't want to get it any worse, so I wanted to put a coat of paint on it. So I got to take all that paint off and start that over again. But when this runs, it purrs. It is nice, and that's nice too. I fixed the clutch too. It was like really sticky. Like, this was super hard to pull on. Like, it'd kill my hand if I actually tried to ride the bike. And then just tune it up. Keep tweaking little things like air, fuel adjustment, maybe little bits, but I think I got it pretty damn close. So back to what today's project is for that bike. Is I attempted, and you guys will see what I did here. Is I attempted to paint this. This is the color I'm planning to go with. And as you can see, I spider cracked the crap out of it somehow. And by somehow, I mean that's my fault. Haven't painted in a while. So what I'm going to have to do is sand all this down and then do very light coats instead of heavy coats. So I'll do very light coats of paint on this instead of the heavy ones. So what I have to start with is sanding this down and then repainting it, really. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go sand this off camera because it's going to take me a while. And it's going to be kind of boring to watch. And we'll come back when I'm done. So I'm back, and I got into sanding this piece down, trying to get rid of some of the wrinkles. And I think what I did is I went way too heavy with the paint. I really wanted to coat it, and I think I just went way too thick because some of it's still kind of tacky, even though it's been a couple of days. So I think the best bet for this piece is to get my orbital out, put some sandpaper on it, really get this down basically back down to plastic, smooth it all out, get all the paint I can off it, and it is plastic, so I can't just spray something on it and take the paint off. get this right down to plastic and start over really lightly. So this piece is on hold because I think I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit longer, see if it'll harden up so that the sanding will be easier too, because you could tell the paint was moving. So on that note, turn this guy back on. I have the other side cover, which is this beautiful blue that we chose back when this bike was going to somebody else. So back, wow, that was years ago. So this piece is dirty. Needs a good cleaning. This needs to be sanded down, but this is a very thin coat. I can tell because like in the edges here, I can tell where it's not quite painted through. So this is a very thin coat, and this paint's really nice and hard. So I should be able to sand this down pretty easily and get it back to plastic or very close. At least get a lot of this blue off before I start painting. So that I should be able to do tonight. That's going to take a while. But knowing what time it is, I actually think I should stop for the night because I got other stuff I got to do. I was going to say the other word, but let's just see if we hit this, because this is 100 grit sandpaper. And yeah, so the other stuff was like, you could feel the orange moving, where with this, it's coming off nicely. So I want to take my time with this too. I don't want to rush myself sanding this, but yeah, it's starting to come off pretty nicely. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll scratch this up pretty good, get a lot of this blue off, just to give the next coat of orange, or the first coat of orange, and there's something really good to stick to, which is this is scratched up plastic. I am by no means a great painter. I just have in the past painted with literal cans of spray paint on RC cars and bicycles, and like that bike. No, I didn't do that bike. The bike I had before that I painted the whole thing, and it really looked good. So I'm gonna take my own bike, and for now I'm going to paint it the way I would. Maybe when I move and this garage becomes better, and hopefully a lot bigger, get some real painting supplies. I'm probably trying to talk over this and it's not working. Me sanding. Get some real painting supplies and actually give it a proper painting. But I've learned a few new things on YouTube, which, you know, I'm YouTube certified to do this, about painting and different things that I want to test while I do this. So I think these side plastic covers being pretty small are better start than trying to start with like the tank, even though that's metal. That's gonna be a whole nother beast to work with. That's gonna be probably the last thing I paint, because it was rusty, so I sanded it all down, grinded off some of the rust, wire brushed it, and then it's just been primed. But as you can tell by looking at it, it's fingerprints, grease, dirt, because I've been working on taking this off, putting it back on, taking it off, putting it back on for years now, because it used to be at my parents' house, and for years it's just been primer. So I mean, it's not rusty. There's a small spot of rust on the bottom that I want to get rid of under the tank, like in the frame side. The inside of the tank's pretty clean, a little speckling of rust, but it's not bad, and when the fuel comes out there's no rust in it, so I think it's just small itty bits of rust. I don't know, a little bit, but nothing I'm really worried about, because once we get fuel in there, it's going to keep it from rusting a bit. What else? So that'd be the last thing I paint. The fender's going to be the first metal piece I paint on this, because the fender's much smaller. So I want to test the fender later. But for plastics, I've done plastics, like I've said, several different things. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see. Get some more light in there. It's very thin, which means I went super thin with this paint just to get enough uncoated. And this could have been 3 or 4 coats. I used to go super light. And with that orange, I definitely went way too thick. So I'm going to take this. I'm probably going to actually just get an orbital out and take this down, because this is going to take me a while, I think. So those are the plans for the bikes. I'm going to try to bring you guys along on my journey of what I do in this garage. I do a lot of little nitpicky things on bikes, my bikes. Adjusting the grips down, like just taking these couple bolts, loosen this up, bring it down, bring it to where I feel really comfortable with it. Like this bike is not so much, with the 636 being super sport and you're over the tank a lot more. I adjusted those into a really nice position. I do all my own cleaning. I do as much of the work as possible for things that aren't under warranty. So like if there's brake pads that need to be done, I put the exhausts on. I checked the valves myself on these two so far. I've checked the valves. This one I actually had to put new valve springs, had to rip the whole engine out and rebuild from. What I do, I drop the pistons all the way down so I didn't have to mess with the pistons. The pistons were way down here. I had to take this section off, this section, this whole part off, break the camshaft chain, redo a whole bunch of the internal components of that because there was a cracked aluminum head, which sucked. This, I bought the full repair manual for the Ninja 300 and decided to do my own valve repair and misread one of the torque specs, like in the 11th hour of working on it, which was just a cluster that day. I was exhausted from work and I was trying to get that done so I could go ride it. And instead of doing like 87 inch-pounds, I did foot-pounds and snapped the bolt off inside the engine and then had to drill it out and back it out, which then I snapped something else doing that. Not the engine, but like a cover. And then I had to find another cover, which was basically what I was told was I had to buy a new engine to buy that cover. Luckily, I found a wrecked Ninja 300 and bought the pieces off the guy there from Texas and had it shipped here. So basically what I'm trying to say is I do a lot of my own work. Not because... like, people are like, oh, what are you, cheap? No, I'm not cheap. I like to learn. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to try... Smurf. I like to try different things, like this paint. Like, you know, whatever. I'm trying a different kind of paint than I've ever done. The LED lighting. I've never wired LED lighting for a bike before, which wasn't that hard. But then I was very meticulous. Like, there's a wiring harness just for the LEDs in there, and each one has its own clip. And I can't see any of it, which I love. This thing's another story. So I just want to bring everyone along on YouTube for this journey of mine of working on bikes. Maybe I can help you guys learn something. I've got other videos where I've done like the oil change on that with Heather, where people commented why I did something, and I responded, it was easier for me to remove this bolt and this bolt than remove this plastic clip that I'm always afraid of breaking and then having to replace it later. I've done air filters. I haven't done hers yet. I gotta do hers. I gotta do the K&N in that one. We've done air filters, windscreens, you know, just the typical stuff you do when you buy a bike is you change all these things out. The other thing I want to do is, got some custom parts for this that I made that I want to get on here, but I want to bring you guys along with that. So, in short, I'm bringing everybody along. Got a walking stick. I don't know where that came from. And I'm going to take you guys along on the whole garage, from here to the next place I live, to the next place, to the bigger garage, the next garage, to this bike, that bike, the next bike, all of them. And if you guys have questions on anything I'm doing, feel free to leave it. I may not have the right answer, but I'll have my answer. And the only thing I have to say is I read the books meticulously. This book is not the greatest for that bike. I found a couple very big discrepancies, but it's gotten me enough of the way there that I could get things apart, looked at, tested, and then even if I had to, I go on online forums and find a place to ask the next question. Like, this doesn't seem right. Here's my question. So I can help research if anyone needs help researching problems with things. I don't do my best work, but I can Google pretty meticulously. So I think that's about it for today, YouTube. I got to get going and do some other stuff with life, edit this video at some point. But I'll be here working on bikes, working on things in the garage, playing with paint and things, and I hope you guys join me along the trip. Then we'll also be back on the bikes. Heather and I will be traveling and doing things as COVID lets up, but at least we can get out and ride. So until the next video, you guys ride safe, have fun, try different things, try sanding. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Wait. Blue. Oh, it didn't work. I was gonna blue piece you guys. But we'll be back.